Yo, brother, it's time for us to start talking the real, man. We've been sugarcoating too much. We've got to start calling everything out for what it is.
Well, it's been about 4 years since we got a new EUC manufacturer, and that was Librochem. 2020 thereabouts was when the Sherman was released, game changer wheel. And now we have NOSFET with the Apex, which is right here in front of me. And first, a huge shout out to Jason at eWheels for providing me this wheel. There are only 6 of these on the planet, and 2 of them are in the United States. And I'm pretty happy and stoked that I have one of them. I just received this yesterday, Friday. The wheel looks like the box has been through hell. I believe it was shipped. It was air shipped in pieces, but since it looks like it's in this box, that's been quite a bit abused. I think eWheel has assembled it for me, which is nice. I prefer not to have to assemble a wheel if I don't need to. So obviously NOSFET is a new company, just came on the scene very recently. NOSFET is NOS for nitrous oxide. I think that's it. That's component in racing, a fuel additive. And FETs, of course, MOSFETs, those are the components that deliver the power to our motors for EUCs. And then Apex, I guess, is another racing term. I'm not into car racing, but I'm sure some of you are. So this is clearly, I think, supposed to be generally kind of a racing wheel, though the videos I've seen, look, all wheels can do pretty much everything, right? They're not just limited to whatever the company thinks you should be using the wheel for. Now this packaging, it's a mess in here. So this is not production packaging for sure. I mean, that's why the wheel looks like it does. And yeah, so definitely eWheels put this together. Hopefully I'm going to be able to ship this off to I think it's going to New York next. So if any of you guys in New York are watching this, pray that this box survives the next FedEx shipment. Now, this wheel is kind of a collaboration between Librochem and this new company, NOSFET. Though when I say collaboration, it's that NOSFET has essentially paid Librochem for their design guidance, and they're using some of Librochem's components. Licensing, I'm pretty sure they're licensing element of the firmware, though they've modified the firmware for this wheel. So there definitely is going to be a comparison. You're going to want to compare this to the Lynx, which is the wheel right here, I think. But let's see. So this is the charger. I'm going to guess that's their logo, NOSFET. I'm going to guess this is the same charger that comes with the Librochem wheels. It's branded NOSFET. I don't know how to compare this to my Librochem charger. I'm kind of hoping it's not, even though it kind of looks like it initially, because the Librochem chargers are the most unreliable chargers of all the wheels I've ever owned so far. I've had, I think I've had 3 Librochem chargers fail on me early on, so that's not good. This is some Velcro padding. These are thrown in with e-wheels. My understanding is that this wheel is not shipped with pads. Seems to be a trend. So I don't know if I'm going to actually use these. I might throw on, I'm probably going to throw on my own pads. This, yeah, I'm not sure what some of this is. This might be, this doesn't look pad related. All kinds of stuff in here. The pump for the shock. Comes with mounting plates for attaching your pads. This is going to be fun packaging this wheel up when I have to send it on its way. All right, I think I got everything out of here. Definitely not a heavy wheel. That's my first impression. And definitely LiproChem elements when you're looking at this, but let me turn it on, and it's probably, yeah, it won't turn on. Same as LiproChem wheels, of course. You got to plug in the charger, and that'll turn it on. So let me throw this guy on the bench, and we can pull in the camera and take a closer look at it. But looks very unique, first of all. All right, I have the wheel on the bench, and first thing I want to do is pump the shock up. And this is the pump that was thrown in the box. Actually, it's mine, but it's the same thing they put in the box, which is pretty sure e-wheels just threw that in there. But I will let them know that this will not work for this wheel, because this is all too long, and this gets in the way to be able to get to the valve. So this is a pump I love. The Beto, I'm not sure how you pronounce it, works beautifully for all my suspension wheels. I'm not sure how much I'm going to put in here, but I'm going to go for 250 psi to start with. Looks like there was 150 in here, which wasn't really doing anything. All right, I'm going to leave this at that for a time being until I get a sense of how much air I really need to put in here. This is the natural position for the kickstand. I got to tell you, the initial impressions of this wheel is industrial minimalism, I think I would say, and lots of beautiful metal. It's clear whatever you see that looks like metal is metal, and whatever you see that doesn't look like metal except for these is plastic. These feel like they're magnesium pedals, but yeah, really just, I don't know, industrial. Let's take a look at these pedals. The initial impression is that they remind me of the Leaperchem pedals, which I don't love, but these are much taller spikes, if you can call them spikes. So it's been suggested to me that they will be gripping my feet really nicely. I will test that out. But otherwise, they look great. Of course, a whole new pedal hanger design. So not compatible with any other existing wheels. It almost looks like there's some kind of a mechanism, these ridges on these supports, but I don't see anything that would make use of that in terms of positioning. They have a good tension. They stay where you put them, but they are not, as far as I can tell, there's nothing to be able to adjust the dihedral, meaning when they are flat, you can't adjust how flat they are. They're not flat. They just got a little bit of dihedral. Looks like a good angle that I would like, but again, not adjustable. And as far as I can tell, I mean, it kind of looks, it gives you the impression that maybe there's different positions, but again, I do not know right now whether you can adjust the pedal heights. But again, as I ride the wheel and find out more about it, I will be able to test that out. Here is another view of the bare sides before I put on the side plates for the pads, but looks beefy, and this is nice and oiled up. I don't know, yeah, looks nice, and lots of, you can see here there are some available holes. Again, these are symmetrical, so here's for the kickstand, which of course means there's 2 empty holes in the front, and channels. Definitely opportunities to customize this wheel a little bit, particularly if you're willing to drill into these pieces. These battery cases seem very robust. Take a look at this tire. Nothing special here. It's the Kenda. It's the Kenda knobby that we see on the Shermans, and I think this is definitely a missed opportunity, since this wheel looks like it's maybe meant for racing or blitzing around. Maybe a competitor to the Blitz, of course. Also want to compare it, but yeah, wow, you should have put a street tire on this, at least for the sample. It's a nice tire as it is, but my understanding is E-Wheels will be providing this wheel with the TNT tires, which I love on the Sherman L. So you'll be able to get the TNT Street or the Knobby. If you can see, there's definitely lots of room in here for a bigger tire. It is not space constrained, so you guys want to put 90/90 tires on this. That definitely looks doable. Looking on the inside, it's very clean in here. This bottom piece is, there's no fins on it for heat dissipation. So we will see how warm or cool this wheel rides. I can't see any, there's no cable connections going in here. I can't see any connections for the batteries. Everything looks like it's really well sealed. Apparently this is IPX6 rated, I think, if I remember right. So it can handle the weather fine. The only thing that's not the greatest is the beeper located here with this connector, which is obviously not weatherproof. Not that the beeper is critical. This is loose, which could have happened during shipping, of course. easily fixed with a screwdriver. It's got some goop on there, but the goop didn't do its thing. There, and it's attached to the light, which is rotated, and that's based on some screws on the side, and you can't easily get to these screws for adjusting the tension. I don't think you can get to them at all without looks like without taking this plastic piece off. Yeah, you can't get to these screws to adjust anything. So I will, tension seems good on the light as is, but it would be nice to be able to get access to these two side bolts for loosening or tightening them. A view underneath the pedals. Again, I don't know what, if anything, is meant to be adjustable. And here you can see the battery, little battery protectors, corners. Looks like there's one on each corner. A view of the motor, which will look very familiar to you if you have any Leaperkim wheels. My understanding, this is the same wheel that's on the Lynx, and maybe they are, I'm not sure, but branded NOSFET. Again, this is one of the components shared from Leaperkim. I was looking for any kind of a rating on the motor, but I don't see anything, markings. A view of the top, and I'll show you everything when it's turned on, how the display looks. Here are the charging ports, which I gotta tell you, I do much prefer access to these than on the Leaperkim wheels. Nicely accessed, and this cover, I think it would do just a fine job if it was raining. Very clean, very small. This wheel definitely feels minimalistic. And one thing you're going to notice is it does not look like it was meant to ride seated. There's nowhere to put your butt here. And my understanding, there is a seat that will be available for this. I'm not sure if it's from NOSFET or third party. I've seen a picture of something, but I don't know how well it will function. These handles are not, I mean, they feel great, but they're not ideal for mounting things to. If you wanted to mount a bracket to maybe mount a seat to this, these handles are not going to make that particularly easy. Time to put these side panels on, which are flexible. They look like they'll stand up to a lot. And something like this for the V14. I don't know what BD stands for, but this is definitely made for this wheel specifically. So if anyone knows what that might stand for, I don't know. But these are provided for each side, and again, made specifically for this wheel with notches to fit here, notch here for these screws. So it slides in very nicely like that. Same thing on this side. So they only go in one spot. And then this is going to attach like this. And again, everything's cut out, definitely made for this wheel. So what I will do is clean this with some alcohol and then remove these and install it. This is Velcro. So it's easiest if I just leave it like it is, peel these off, and then just plop it down, press, and that'll be installed. So let me do that for both sides. I have my pads installed. These side panels look like they're going to work perfect. Lots of surface area to install them. These are some pretty big pads. They fit nicely. Show you a few things while the wheel is on here. The light, again, light you can, well, first of all, it's got daylight running lights, so that's cool. I wish this, just like the LeaperCam wheels, they don't have the option to have flashing lights, and I make use of that on all my other wheels that have that ability during the day. I turn it on because flashing light, it's just more visibility. You want to be seen by traffic, cars pulling out of side streets, that kind of stuff. But anyway, daylight running lights, and it's got three levels: low, medium, and high. So that'll be interesting. It'll be cool to see what the spread is. I'll do a night ride with this, of course. And I didn't realize when I was looking at this wheel a little bit earlier, I saw a cable, and yeah, it does have rear lights. This front handle or back handle and the front handle, they're identical. It's like most of the EUCs are built with symmetrical components that can be flipped around. So they look decent right now. See what they look like during the day. Ask if people can see me. Let's see what else to show at this level. Oh, well, so this mud guard kind of looks like it's broken, but it's actually meant to be kind of bent, and there's a couple like catches here, but maybe it was sitting in the box too long because I can't get it to kind of catch. I think it's supposed to be normally kind of like that, but then these pieces spread out and it pops back in this position. I guess it's meant to be kind of not a breakaway, but a mud guard that's not going to break when you hit stuff. But to be honest, even in this position, you have looks like great coverage from the tire. So I don't think there's going to be a problem just leaving like that. Not sure what you think about how it looks, but and then this is the kickstand, and two-position kickstand. This is the default, how I guess it's nominally supposed to be positioned. So when I put the wheel like this, that's how it sits. So normally if you ride like this, the idea is if you're going to hit something, instead of the mudguard kickstand breaking, it'll pop up, or let's say you drop off something and this catches, it'll pop up in that position. I think probably just leave in this position because it still functions as a kickstand. Yeah. Let me show you the display from the top. This is obviously very reminiscent, everything about it, from the LeaperCam wheels, but the display is a little bit different, as you can see. But you have the different. It's very much like the LeaperCam wheels. You can switch between what you want to see down here: temperature, voltage, amps, so forth. And this display is your battery percentage bar graph, and then over here is the same thing, but this will show you your amp draw. So when you're really pushing it hard, you're going to see this bar graph grow. And other than that, it's got pretty much all the different settings that you can do with the LeaperCam wheels. I think there's some subtle differences. I noticed that it has acceleration assist that you can't turn off. Best I can see is a minimum is 30%, something like that, which is interesting. And of course, this is early version. It's firmware. I fully expect it to be changed, updated. And I'll put a link down below to in the description to the website and to the manual, so you can download the manual. And manual is in English, well written, and good description of all the meanings as you go through the settings and what you can change. There is no trolley handle with this wheel. Personally, I don't like that. I know it was obviously it was a decision to be made, because they probably could have gotten a trolley handle in this, because every wheel made on the planet for the last few years has a trolley handle. So obviously it can be done. It's positioned as kind of you can't help but compare it to a Lynx initially anyway. It's the specs. It's got a lot of Librachem parts to it, and but it's cheaper, right? But it's still not a cheap wheel. I think this is going to be selling for $3,500. I just think it should have had a trolley handle, because it's not like this is a tiny wheel or a wheel with a really short, small battery. I like to use a lot of my wheels, particularly I consider this a smaller wheel, going to the store sometimes, and I'm not going to take this to the store. I can't. I'm not going to walk around the store like this, and this is pretty wide. I can barely grip this like this. So I really wish there had been a trolley handle. And then, particularly with this tire, I'm going to be taking this on some trails, and sometimes you have to walk sections of trails, and having a trolley handle is really nice, rather than this or having to walk like this on a trail. And there's no seat. Believe me, you guys aren't going to want to attempt to sit on this. And then this is the suspension that doesn't move a lot, but it moves. And again, I have seen a picture of a seat, so I think there's a seat coming. I can't remember if it's from NOSFET or if it's a third-party seat, but I thought it's going to come with a wheel. That's okay. Most wheels don't come with a seat, but they do come with either a padded top, or at least a flat top that you can, even if you don't put any foam on it, you can still sit on it. It's not possible. You can't sit on this wheel, period. And I just think that's a missed opportunity. I think if they weren't going to provide a seat, this top should have been reconfigured a bit so that at least it could have been flat and you'd be able to sit on it. But again, I guess there will be an option for a seat at some level, if this had been a kind of a different configuration, it would have been maybe easier. Like if instead of these, which feel very comfortable by the way, but instead of this, if it had something like this, then it'd be much easier to mount maybe a platform that you could mount a seat to if you wanted to. But as this is going to be very difficult to make your own seat adaptation for this wheel. Let me talk about this shock a little bit. It's a DMT drift. I think maybe that's a drift mount. I don't know, but seems to be a nice shock. Now I did take this out in my driveway a little bit and dropped off a couple little curbs as I was experimenting with setting up the suspension. But it's nice. It's got you can adjust rebound with this red knob at the bottom, so you can make it real pogo sticky if you want, or not. And the blue knob lets you can in this position it's locked, doesn't move. and this position it moves a little bit, and this position it moves quite a bit more. And of course, you adjust the air pressure depending on how much sag you want when you get on the wheel. So initial impressions is it feels pretty good as I was just riding it up and down my driveway. Of course, a lot more testing to follow. Adjusting the height of this suspension is actually very easy, and the position it's in right now, it's in the lowest position, and it moves feels like it moves about 5 millimeters. Maybe it's not supposed to be in the absolute lowest position. I don't know, but yeah, you can almost lock the suspension out, which some of you will probably like. But if I want to, I'm going to do this. I've seen where you can you put it on the front. I think you can just do this without turning off the wheel. Undo these two little screws. They feel like you could lose them, but we'll see how that goes with time. So you just push these levers in, and now you can position. That's the range from where I had it the lowest all the way up to the top. Oh. This is where you probably should there. I have it close to the top, and it's engaged. Tighten these back up. These are floppy, but it doesn't matter because the tooth is engaged. These levers have to be actually pulled up for the teeth to get disengaged. So even though these are kind of loose like that, that doesn't mean that this linkage is loose. But now it's in the top highest position, and then you kind of feel like you're up in the clouds. You can definitely feel much more height in the pedals. So it's going to be very interesting riding this in both ways. I don't think I'm going to ride it in the lowest position because I do like some suspension, but probably play with it in the highest and medium position, I guess. Right, well, normally I would do this outro standing, holding the trolley handle, but there's no trolley handle to hold, or I would be sitting on the wheel, but I can't sit on this wheel, so I'll do this kneeling. I hope you enjoyed this, got something out of this unboxing video. It's pretty cool to see a new wheel, although it's not totally new because you kind of feel like you're looking at a variation of a Librochem wheel. It'd be cool if it was, totally new, totally different display and all that kind of stuff. But still, it's a new wheel. It's different, and the suspension. I gotta admit, the suspension is pretty cool to be able to change it. You saw how easy it was to really change the height. So I don't know how often that's something you'd want to do, but if you did want to ride this on the streets versus on the I probably wouldn't want to be in the clouds, highest position most of the time, but I can definitely see taking advantage of that for some trail riding where you really want that additional pedal clearance, or if any of you guys do jumps, you're going to want the highest level. So it's going to be really cool to see how this rides. You'll be seeing more videos about this wheel. I'll dig into some of the more details as I experiment with it, maybe more details on the suspension. I am going to be getting new linkage mechanism. They're sending me a hardened metal version. I guess I've been told there haven't been problems, but they're just being proactive, just to make the teeth, the mechanism, strong as it possibly can be. And I think there's also, with this particular sample, I think I was told you can't get to the highest position, but I'm pretty sure I am in the highest position without taking air out of the shock. But anyway, the final linkage is coming, so I will be installing that. Maybe I'll make a video as I do that. Contemplating changing the tire, because I've been told it's super quick to change a tire on this, like 20 minutes. I'm sure it would take me longer than 20 minutes, but I have a TNT tire that came from original tire on the Lynx, not the Lynx, the L, and I love that tire. So I have that hanging around. Maybe I'll install it, do a video and show that process, how easy it really is to change. So lots of content coming. Tomorrow I'm taking this to AVS, Apple Valley Speedway, for one of the last days of Roger's EUC tour for Southern California. He rented out the racetrack, and a bunch of people are going to be going out there. So I thought, perfect timing. I just got the wheel. I can bring it out there, and I'll bring you a lot of first impressions from racers and see what they think of this wheel, with particularly the adjustable suspension, or the ability to lock it out like some people like to do. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed the video, got something out of it, and until next time, safe riding.